So, real or fake? Whew, that's tough. You decide. Sham stunt After Effects tutorial time. Let's dive on in. I'll show you guys how Parkour Guy almost had the world's first octuplet backflip on a trampoline, no double bounce. Focus. So before we get started, this is actually a composite of 2 videos. The first video clip is me doing a backflip on the trampoline. The second video clip is just a clean background, trampoline, house, sunshine. So the first thing I wanted to do to get this effect to work is find the frame in which I really wanted to start applying the effects from me doing a backflip. Basically right about there, right when I'm coming off the trampoline. This is where I wanted all the effects kind of to start to take place, like my height to increase and you know, the rotations to start happening. So on the video of me doing a backflip, I, on the keyboard, hit Command-Shift-D. This splits the layer. So basically this is just the same video, but now instead of one layer, right at this frame, it's gonna split, and now it's gonna be its own separate layer, the second half of that video. The next thing I wanted to do is determine how far I wanted to go in this second layer before I basically would freeze my guy and just have him start doing a ton of spins. So this is basically right where he reaches upside down. Right then and there, I hit Command-Shift-D, and that separated another layer. Now this in-between little layer here, that's the one that I actually want to rotoscope, okay? Rotoscoping, what that does is it basically cuts it out of the background. Cuts whatever you're rotoscoping out of the background. Double click that layer, and then right up here, there's a roto brush tool. Click the roto brush tool, and what I did was I select my guy, trying to get a good selection around my guy. If I needed to undo any rotoscoping, I would basically hit Option and then undo. Then, very important, something that really helps sell an effect is like making sure the edges of the guy that you're selecting, those edges are refined using the refined edge tool, which is another feature in the roto brush tool. This helps with like hairs and stuff, so it's not such of a sharp cut, so it looks more fluid. Very important though, I wanted to scroll through each and every frame of this entire segment here, making sure the roto brush tool stayed on the guy. If it ever left the guy for that frame, I would want to deselect it by holding Option on the keyboard and pushing the roto brush tool down. When I got to the final keyframe and he was all roto brushed out each and every frame, it was good enough, right? I mean, it didn't have to be perfect. Then I hit freeze, okay? So freeze, you know, it took a minute for it to freeze. It's frozen. Back on out to that mini little layer there. Basically what we have here now is just a guy on a transparent background doing basically half a backflip. That's all we need, baby. Now here's something you can get learnt if you're into effects and stuff, is just keeping the background fluid and like making sure there's no sharp cuts or anything. Well, the snow that's jumping up on the trampoline, well, that would all just disappear. All that snow would just disappear. And you'd be like, hold on a minute, where'd that snow go? You know, like it would look weird to the eye. So what we want to do is we want to keep that snow. Well, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take me doing a backflip, that layer, I'm going to extend it out again, and right where my guy jumps to the transparent guy is where I want to go Command-Shift-D and make a new layer of that. Now what I want to do is I want to actually click up here using the pen tool. I'm going to mask out the bottom underneath my guy doing the flip, just getting the trampoline and those little snowflakes in there. We can adjust the mask a little bit, adding a little feather to it so it's not too rigid or harsh. All right, so right down here, you go mask. We're gonna automate the mask a little bit. What that means is we're gonna add some keyframes. So click the keyframes, and then frame by frame, we're gonna have the mask go up with those like little snowflakes going up off the trampoline, and back down as the guy comes back down. And when the guy hits the trampoline, you know, he puts a dent in the trampoline, but we don't want that. We want this guy to continue flying in the air. So we actually need to mask out the whole trampoline when everything comes back down and just jump to that clean background. Now it does get a little rough. If you look really closely, you can see the trampoline, eventually it kind of like skips, it like jumps a little bit, but I think everybody's attention is gonna be on the guy. And as long as those snowflakes don't just like disappear, it's like fluid. I mean, you have to look twice to see it really, in my opinion. Like you're watching the guy, you know, you can see where I mean, I guess I could have took more time to fix that, but I didn't. All right, now the fun part. This is where it's gonna get fun, all right? Gonna do a lot of flips. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to increase this guy's height. So right when he's leaving the trampoline here, I need him to go way higher, okay? That's just plain and simple. So on the transparent moving part where he just goes into a half a backflip, I'm gonna expand that, go to the transform. We're gonna put one position, one scale keyframe right here at the beginning. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scroll to the end of the clip, and I'm going to use the position tool right here, and I'm gonna change the Y on the position, bringing him up higher. So at the very end, it'll add another keyframe that'll bring him up higher. Now because he's up higher, I need him to be a little smaller, so I'm gonna shrink his size down to 84%. Specifics don't matter, you can do whatever you want. And this is gonna be a linear jump, so it may look a little cheesy, but honestly, like whatever, dude, you know, I've got time for messing around too much. You know, for Instagram smut, it looks good enough, all right? Right at that very last frame of where my guy is basically upside down doing a backflip, I'm going to solo man flip on that last little frame right there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go composition, save frame as, file. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just saving this one frame as a file. I'm gonna save it as a PNG. This keeps the background transparent. I'm gonna actually import this one single frame of me in the tucked position upside down back into Adobe After Effects and put it right over this layer. So I'm going from this video clip of me jumping up in the air to all of a sudden this still PNG frame. Super cheesy, super easy. Now what I'm gonna do from here, this is the fun part, guys, is we're gonna add a bunch of flips and do some automation. Make them go wherever we wanna go, honestly. You can do anything you want. It's dumb. So because I have this image now, it should line up right with your guy. If it doesn't, you can change the position and get him lined up right over where that guy's at, right where he's up there in the clouds. Make sure it's layered right on top of him. And then go down here and make sure the layer stops and your PNG starts. Okay, so the layer is over. If the PNG wasn't there, he would literally just disappear. Now, very important, before you get him doing flips and stuff, you actually want to change the anchor point. The anchor point is basically where the image will pivot around if you rotate it. So usually it's like in the center of the whole entire image. So that would like rotate the guy like this, which would look totally weird. So what we want to do is we want to take that anchor point and put it to the center of mass for that guy, so it only looks a little weird, all right? Well, that way he'll rotate around his center and do flips. So if you want to change the anchor point without changing the position, little trick right here, hold down Y on the keyboard and drag the anchor point right to the center mass of the guy, all right? This won't mess around with like the position of the guy on there, because if you move the anchor point using the transform tool, it'll throw the guy all over the place. Basically, right at the beginning of this PNG image, we are going to keyframe position, scale, and rotation. All right, now what we're going to do is honestly, basically just rotate the crap out of this guy. Drag it out a little ways, depending on how you want it to look. This is all up to you. You could probably make it look more real, less real than this. You can do whatever you want here. All right, I'm just gonna show you what I did. Dragged it out quite a ways. Then I added a keyframe at the very end for my rotation. All right, so popped another keyframe in there, and I said this was going to be like an octuplet flip, so 8 flips. So you can literally just go here on rotation and type in 8, and then he'll rotate 8 times. But I think I only did like 4 actually. Let me see. Oh, he only like 4.5 maybe, because it just looked more real. 8 was like way too fast. So he went for it though, but didn't make it. So whatever number of rotations you want around that anchor point, that axis, you can put that number right in there. You can fine tune it if you want to with that, you know, little degree thing right there. Then changing the position, I just added a keyframe here, a keyframe, you know, went a little ways. Then basically I went back to the beginning. I wanted him to go up a little bit more, add a keyframe, moved him a little bit, moved along the timeline, add another keyframe and moved him over there a little bit. Then I kind of clicked on the keyframe you can see the little clip in here, and I made it more of like a parabola. Add another keyframe. I also went in and added a keyframe for size. I made him shrink a little bit more as he got a little bit further away. So he goes up, and then I keyframed him to come back down. Just basic, simple keyframes. That's all that is. All right, and it looks cheesy, all right? Once again, if you have more time, you wanna mess with like the physics and get into the like graph where you can bend it better. Yeah, you can waste your time doing that, but I mean, seriously. perfect for Instagram smut. I literally didn't spend more than 45 minutes on this, filming to finishing editing this. My computer luckily is working a little faster today, believe it or not. And I only had to rotoscope a little bit. So what's taking a long time is making this tutorial because I'm slipping up my words. I wanted him to hit the dish now, all right? This little part right here. So I brought him over to the dish, and right where I have him get guillotined by the dish, basically this is where I exported this frame. So basically, once again, this is just a simple frame export. I soloed this PNG, this guy just doing the flip as a solo guy right here. Opened that in Photoshop. Then what I did is I basically just cut around the body and exported a body and saved that as a transparent PNG. And then I basically right-clicked and I clicked select inverse, so it would select the opposite of what I already selected. That way there's no overlap. And I clicked export that PNG, so I had two PNGs, a head and a body. Very simple, very easy. It's crafts, it's arts and crafts, you know? Coming back here, pasting it back in, putting the head and the body in there. Then I just automated the head to go through the neighbor's window and the body to drop down on the ground. It's kind of violent, but there's no blood. And I just automated the head just like I did the body and the flips. And yeah, had it go through the neighbor's window. Added a little glass crack sound effect and threw in a little transparent glass crack PNG I got from Google Images. And then honestly, the best part of all this is adding in sound effects. So I exported this back into Premiere, changing the sounds around so I could have it sound more timed out right, adding in a scream, a glass crack. You know, it's just, I don't know, sound effects are huge. Thank you guys so much for watching. More videos coming out. I'll be making more effect videos, effect tutorials as well. More videos coming this week. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace. You all have a good one. I'll see you.